told with them as tag team champions has been told.
Well, the story was them winning, and then after that, there was no story to tell.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they didn't need to lose them the next night or anything, but it's just, yeah. I mean, it's just there wasn't much really to do after that, after them winning.
Yeah, I've always thought those guys are better off, as singles competitors. Any tag team they do is a temporary, kind of a temporary thing.
Yeah.
I think Kevin's got what, a year left on his current deal.
Something like that. And I think they both re-signed within a few months of each other or something. So,
Yeah.
um,
I guess it'll just depend on what their thought process is for their future. I mean, if they, again, like some people do, if they've got an itch they want to scratch and they want to slide out the door and go test out other waters, I mean, they're both just young enough that they can do that. And, because they're both just south of 40. I think KO's what, 37, 38?
something like that.
And Sammy's give or take within the same ballpark. So, I mean, if they wanted to take off for 2 years and go on another, let's, do my own stuff run.
Now, I get them. Sammy strikes me as somebody he's not going to leave.
Probably not.
Now, Kevin is so buddy with some of those guys over in the other company that it wouldn't surprise me if he wanted to go hang out there for a little while.
Yeah.
Because he's buddy with the Bucks and like Adam Cole and
Yeah.
so it wouldn't surprise me. I don't,
And he'd be a good fit over there at this point. I mean, I don't want to see him go. Let me be clear on that. But if he decided at the end of the day, I think I want to go over there for a little bit, he'd fit right in.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I think him going over there for, even if it's just for a short run or whatever. I think honestly, I think he would fit good over there, and I think they could use somebody like him, whether it's on the mic or in the ring or whatever. I think they could really use somebody like him.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, look, if he wanted to go do that, it'd be cool, man. Because I mean, I think ultimately it's better for if there are people who want to take a little detour for a little while. I mean, I think it's better that they do that than things come down to having to have budget cuts, right?
Right.
Um,
And they're probably depending on how they feel about their paycheck, and two, their status on the card or whatever within the company. It's, they have to be looking at the fact that, okay, I'm going to be 40 soon. They're already looking at guys like Austin Theory. They've got the guys coming up from NXT. There's people coming up that are younger than me. In the next 5 years, I'm going to be doing the gatekeeping thing, and I don't know. I guess it all depends on how they feel about their place in the hierarchy of the company. If they're happy with it, they're happy with their pay, they'll stick around and just ride it out. If they're wanting to go out and just blow the wad on some more indie stuff.
and then so Kevin and Sammy are both 39.
Oh wow, okay. So,
And honestly, another thing is, how can you top what they've done in the past couple of years?
you don't.
I mean, Kevin main event with Stone Cold Steve Austin. How do you top that?
Yeah, you don't. Everything else is downhill.
Yeah, I mean,
So
you can't. I mean, I mean, like he'd have to beat Roman at WrestleMania to come close, to get anything close to that, and that's not going to happen.
I
So,
mean, to put it into a grander perspective, he got Stone Cold out of retirement when Brock Lesnar couldn't.
yeah,
Because people tend to forget when he was still doing the Stone Cold podcast, he had Heyman on there, and Heyman tried to goad him into a match with Lesnar,
yeah,
and it never happened. Like he didn't even consider it. And now here we are, 8 years later, and he's in a main event match with Kevin Owens. So Yeah, I mean, Kevin's always got that. You know, he brought Stone Cold out of retirement when Lesnar couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, and so you can't. I mean, there's no topping that. Um, and then look, I mean, Sammy just this year he's main evented several pay per views, and he main evented night one of WrestleMania with Kevin. I mean, you can't top that either, right? I
No,
mean, so I mean, I could very easily see it. If either one of them were said, "Okay, mission accomplished here," you know, it would make perfect sense. I mean, like this isn't like a couple of years ago where people thought that they were just miserable and all that.
no, they have to look back at their WWE careers and be very satisfied with it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You have to be. Like I won't accept any argument otherwise. Yeah, maybe not every single little thing went their way, but all in all, those two guys had a hell of a WWE run if they both do decide they're done there.
yeah. And just I mean, like with Sammy, look, I mean, he got when the barrier, so to speak, came down, he got to go to Saudi Arabia after all those years of not being allowed in the country.
Yep.
And he got to go there and do a main event match, and he got to speak to people in his language and all that. I mean,
Yeah, he got to do the pilgrimage and everything.
yeah. So, like I mean, everything else is, I mean, he's playing house money now. I mean, so
Yeah.
if, although I mean, I do think again, he strikes me as he's just going to stick around. I mean, I could see Kevin maybe being curious and wanting to go hang out with his buddies over there for a little bit. But either way, I mean, even if they both were to go, I mean, I would understand. I mean, because they've really done all that they've done them. They've gotten as high as they're going to get to go. They've done everything they're going to get to do. So if there is something somewhere else that kind of piques their curiosity or has their interest or whatever, I could understand them going to do that.
Yeah.
But I think right now I think we're at the point now where like the other tag teams need something to chase after, and I mean,
Yeah. Send one set of belts to Raw, the other one's to SmackDown. Split up Sammy and KO, and let some of these other teams. You got Ciampa's out there looking for Gargano. You can always put DIY back together and heat them up in a minute. I mean, it wouldn't take anything to heat up DIY again.
right.
If they truly do have the Authors of Pain still just sitting in a cooler somewhere, those guys were always an option. The Creed brothers are just about done cooking.
Yeah.
So, we've got things to play. We've got toys to play with here.
And then now you have the thing with the Street Profits with Bobby over there, and
yeah,
like so they need something to do other than just beat people up, right? I mean, eventually they need to go, they need something to go chase after.
Jason said he was on his way. I don't know what he got held up on.
And now we are at the 3-year anniversary of Roman winning the title.
Yep, there is that 3 years anniversary of that. It simultaneously feels like it's gone so fast, but it also seems like forever ago.
Yeah, it does.
It's weird how time has worked over the last 3 to 5 years. There's Jason. Slowly but surely, he's making his way into the discussion.
Pardon me, just missed my dog going apeshit.
Okay.
Who knows what?
There he is.
What's up?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, good deal. Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so do you want to handle the payback card duties?
Yeah. I mean, I got All Out. I can talk that.
Yeah, we can talk. We can touch
And
on
then-
that briefly. I think we want to talk more about Brawl In than.
Yeah. I mean I kind of don't because I'm like it was a good show, you know.
Well, and I think that's part
yeah.
of the discussion we
Yeah.
need to have is that they had what was supposed to be this amazing moment, and it's once again tarnished.
Yeah.
By a situation.
Yep. But yeah, I can do the payback card.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, why don't we lead off with you do the you recap All Out. Oh, is All In or All Out? Whichever one.
This was All In, All Outs this weekend, right?
Okay. Why don't you recap that, and then we'll go into the Brawl, and then we'll do the payback stuff. How's that?
That works for me, guys. So we don't have to go super long tonight.
Okay.
I know Rob's tired. I'm tired. We were both on with EJ last night, and I'm dragging tonight, fellas. All right, I'll give me a couple seconds here of dead air, and then we'll get into it.
All right.
All right, everybody. It is Wednesday night, August 31st, 2023. This is the Mindless Wrestling Podcast. I can't believe August is over already. And I say that, but August has also felt like a super long month. The last week has felt especially long, given what we went through last week as wrestling fans, losing, not only Terry Funk, but, not even 24 to 48 hours later, losing Bray Wyatt. We've all had our piece to say about that. We've all had our thoughts. We've all had our feelings. The outpouring of support continues to come out there. I'd love to see it. It's slowly helping process everything. But I think both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt would want everybody to eventually dust themselves off, pick themselves up, and move forward. And, move forward with the show, move forward with everything else. WWE tried to do that with a wonderful tribute on Friday Night SmackDown and another tribute on Raw. AEW, to its credit, tried to do its best to entertain fans over the weekend. Impact had a show. So, slowly but surely things are going to heal. There's no timestamp on it, obviously, but we are going to move forward here. Going to try and have a regular show here tonight. We got a bit to talk about. One of the three of us, Jason, did get the All In pay-per-view. He's going to talk a little bit about that here in just a minute. We're also going to discuss the Brawl Out. Seems like AEW, as soon as they have a moment, that moment gets tarnished by an even bigger newsworthy moment. We're going to discuss that tonight. And then I think we're going to wrap the whole card up by talking WWE Payback. So I'm going to wrap around the room here and introduce this cast of characters that we have on this show tonight, starting with, hailing from the Purple Haze and Cloud 9, Bucky's tag team partner, a man destined to go through a barbershop window. Jason, sir, how you holding up?
Wonderful. How are you
Excellent.
guys?
We're doing, man. We're doing. It's been a long week, but it's also been a long work week. So and as I get closer to my vacation, the work weeks just keep getting longer. So
yeah.
Next week's a short week. Got a holiday on Monday. We've got a staff meeting on Friday. There's actually 3 actual work days next week, so I'm looking forward to that.
There you go.
And from the Rob the Genius podcast, the Minister of Truth, the Father of Facts and Figures, the Deacon of Data, the official shoot bear of the Mindless Wrestling Podcast, and the man with the golden shovel, looking mighty tired. You need some toothpicks to hold your eyes open there, Rob?
Thanks so, man. Listen, look, if you hear me snoring, just yell. It's been a long week.
He's not bored. Rob and I went on with EJ again last night, and we did another watch along with him. Saturday night's main event from March of 1988. We had a good time, but between doing that and just the work week, I think Rob's about to tap out on us over there.
Yeah, I promise I will stay with you guys long enough to finish the show.
All right, and I am the man with the award-winning and holy beard, DJ. As I said, this is the Mindless Wrestling Podcast, Part of thechairshot.com. You can find us on part of the Chairshot Radio Network. I'm tired. You can find us on thechairshot.com, where we remind you and encourage you to always use your head. I'm going to turn over the floor to my co-host here, Jason. He's going to talk a little bit of All In. Jason, sir, let her rip.
So, honestly, it was a fun show. I'm not going to go the whole card, but the important things on the pre-show, Adam Cole and MJF defeated Aussie Open for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, just further cementing their bromance. That would come into play later, obviously, because they were facing each other in the main event for MJF's AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Anyway, again, not going to do the whole card, but the pre-show was important too because returning Hook defeated Jack Perry by submission to win back the FTW Championship. And it was an FTW rules match, and there was one spot where Hook got powerbombed or slammed off by Jungle Boy onto a car that the window shattered, and he turned to the camera and said, "Real glass, bitch, what you gonna do about it?" or something to that effect, just indicating that was real glass that he had just put Mr. Hook through.
We'll build on the context of why that's important later.
Yeah.
So, but Hook did win, so God bless. Hook's back. He's back being the FTW champion, so great. And then they opened the show with CM Punk defending his real world championship, which is hilarious still to have the fake. I mean, man, if you're an AEW fan and you ever down-talk the brand split or the WWE Championship versus the AEW, or, the Universal Championship or the legitimacy of this title or that title, oh boy, are you in a pickle now. But they, honestly, I can't crap on the match. I will say this. And they have both, in the last 5 years, CM Punk and Samoa Joe have at various times looked old in the ring. I will say this match, they played the hits. They got in, they got out. CM Punk won the match. They played the hits, and they both looked their age. It wasn't, I wouldn't say that it was like an epic capstone to their rivalry or anything like that. It was definitely a match that happened, and nobody screwed up, and it was great. It was fine.
For 1 second.
Yeah.
Just Samoa, for the last several weeks, Samoa Joe's promos setting up the match were just outstanding.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe's so good on the mic.
Yep. So, and then we had a couple other matches. FTR defeated the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, which is an interesting move, I thought. I was surprised, but FTR did win. So, and then let's see here. Stadium Stampede match was a ton of fun. The Blackpool Combat Club lost. I mean, it was whatever, but it was just a bunch of nonsense, and it was exactly what it was supposed to be. The four-way championship for the AEW Women's World Championship, the only women's offering of the card that clocked in, according to Wikipedia anyway, which I'm sure is generally correct. 8 minutes and 50 seconds. So I'm going to say, and it certainly felt like it was sub 10 minutes, which is fine for a four-ways match on the card because sometimes those four-ways are a scramble. It's just like, hey, sometimes, and this was exactly that because while the DMD was trying to apply her submission to someone, Paige applied the rampage to someone else and got the pinfall, while DMD was otherwise occupied. So it was that sneaky, everything's happening so fast. But when that's your only women's offering on the card and you clock in at under 10 minutes, you done fucked up. Now I understand maybe Paige can only go 10 minutes, but it's also a four-way. You can hide people really easily for a long time. So yeah, that was my thoughts on that match. And then we had some other stuff. It was a good show. I had a lot of fun. And then they got to the end of the match or the end of the show, and MJF and Adam Cole truly did have the friend, like best friends were not going to turn on each other. They didn't. Even when Roddy came out and tried to get Adam to turn on MJF and do something dastardly, they didn't. And they closed the show with, MJF did win. And they just closed the show with, yeah, we're best friends. And the Kingdom came out to get mad at Adam Cole. And I'm like, all right. A couple of things. The crowd was bonkers. So I can't wait to see what WrestleMania is like when they pull that trigger in five years or whatever. Because as we've said on the show before, Cena doesn't do that promo unless the wheels are turning, at least.
Yeah.
For WrestleMania London. So yeah, that crowd was incredible. And hey, I don't care. You can not. The attendance number is the attendance number. I think it's my 2 cents on that. I think it's really funny that people still want to relitigate WrestleMania 1 and all this stuff, but Tony, we should just take the number at face value for Tony, and that's it. No funny business here. When I don't even have to go back into the archives like we do with WrestleMania 1. I don't even have to find this paper trail. I could just tell you that in the weeks before the show, I saw tweets about you can buy tickets, buy one, get 4 free, or buy one, get 3. So you get 4 for the price of 1. So there, at minimum, there was some papering going on, which is fine because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not going to break out a drone or anything like that. But if you tell me there were 80,000 people in that stadium based on watching that show, I will believe you. So
here's the comedy. Here's what I find funny about all these people that go out of their way to try and disprove the attendance of WrestleMania 3, but won't do it for All In. You're questioning the legitimacy of an attendance figure about an industry that built itself on deceit.
Yes.
Right.
Like, they've been lying to you about what's on TV for 40 years, but what you choose to die on is the attendance figure. Like, obviously the place is full. Whether the Silverdome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether the Pontiac Silverdome held 90,000 people or 60,000 people, it was full of people. That's what matters.
Wembley,
it was full of people. Same thing with All In. Wembley was full. Every video that I saw, it doesn't matter if it was 80,000 or 40,000.
I watched the whole show, and best you believe, I was waiting to crow about one section that was tarped over or people that were behind a barricade or something like that. Nope, that stadium was goddamn full. Hats off. I don't care if you gave away tickets in the parking lot.
I don't care how they did it. The people, even if you gave it away, people could very well go say, I ain't going to see a wrestling show.
Right.
But they took free tickets to come see your wrestling show. Paid or not, that's a win.
To the tune of 80,000.
But like you said, that just slays me.
You nailed it on the head, DJ. It's the people that, like, we acknowledge the funny business with WrestleMania 3. Like, yeah, half of them were in like another room watching on closed circuit or something like that. So it really doesn't count. We acknowledge that there was funny business, but we still kind of say, yeah, but the number is the number, guys. There were a shit ton of people in that building.
Yeah.
So can we just do the same thing with All In? Can we just say the number is the number? The video doesn't lie. There was no CGI. That arena was full.
It's just some ridiculous race to prove a narrative that's not even there.
Right.
I mean, because what are we proving? Vince McMahon lied? Okay.
Wrestling is a lie, folks. The whole goddamn business is a lie.
And Tony's trying to lie to you too. He's trying to tell you that he sold out at face value Wembley Stadium, which we know that's not true. We just know it because we saw the ticket offerings right in our face.
Right.
So, I don't care how you got there, but stop acting like the big. When you say the biggest wrestling event of all time, okay, now I want to see your books.
But even then, look, we grew up on Tony Schiavone saying that some random episode of Nitro was the greatest night in the history of our sport.
And goddamn it, he was right.
It's okay.
NWA, WCW, when they were booking, Clash of the Champions and shit the biggest night in the history of our sport. Meanwhile, WrestleMania was 2 weeks ago, and there clearly was twice as many people in the WrestleMania crowd as there was for Bash at the Beach or whatever the case may be. So you don't worry about that, man. Hyperbole is wrestling is hyperbole. Right. Okay, so you don't get to pick and choose. Well, I like wrestling, but I'm going to piss and moan about actual attendance numbers. Get out. You start to complain about the attendance numbers when your company is at risk of closing down because of your attendance numbers.
And also, they had to have done something because they were invited to come back.
Hey, they probably did good business. People come to the show. They're going to spend money. They're going to buy merch. They're going to go to the restaurants in the surrounding area. They're going to go to the pubs in the surrounding area. So it was probably a huge financial, economy boon for that area. And so, hats off to them for, one, pulling it off, and two, for what it was. Most people that I interact with said the show was good to great. And, that's awesome for them. That's awesome that they enjoyed it. I think what we can transition into now, though, is the unfortunate series of events that now overshadows that entire thing. We've had another what should have been great moment for AEW, a win where everybody could take their victory lap, drink their beer, and there ain't no beer drinking with the straight edge CM Punk.
No.
Okay? So somebody with a bit more knowledge on this takeover, because like I said, I didn't watch the show. I've only peripherally somewhat been paying attention to the app formerly known as Twitter. Rob, Jason, one of the two, you take over. Let me tell us exactly, as you know it, at least from what we know it, what's happened here.
Well, the kerfuffle started when Jack Perry came back from his match where he had, used the real glass.
Well, this much I do know. Let me pause there. Let me pause you there for a second, Jason. Let's rewind for the folks that don't exactly know what's going on with that. Apparently, this what was it, on Collision a couple weeks ago? Jack Perry wanted to do a spot, a segment, something with real glass, and CM Punk shut it down. And he said, "We don't do that here. We do that you can do that on the B show on Wednesday nights if you want."
Yeah, and also, Punk wasn't the only person that told him, this was a bad idea. Also, Tony Schiavone was one of the people who told him this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
And remember, Tony Schiavone was there in WCW when Goldberg almost sliced his arm off punching through a glass windshield. Okay. So he saw firsthand what can happen if you try to do a stunt with a real glass window or whatever, instead of, the kind of, we call it sugar glass.
Sugar glass, right.
So never mind Punk. Tony Schiavone, who saw it firsthand, who can tell you firsthand that's a bad idea, also told him this is a bad idea. And then I think Punk was ultimately the one that said, "Hey man, we're not doing that here." And just no. And then so he left and he wasn't happy about it. And so now I'm assuming he went to Tony, and on the pay-per-view he got to use real glass.
All right, so Jason, pick up where you left off. I apologize for cutting you off there.
So apparently there was a confrontation backstage before Punk's match, after Jack's, between Punk and Perry, where Punk laid hands on him. So I don't know, because that story's going around about, who pushed who first and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? And are they suspended? Are they not suspended? Who knows? Neither one of them were on Dynamite, or whatever the next show was. I'm losing track of time. Dynamite.
Punk doesn't work Wednesdays anymore anyway, does he?
Right. No, he doesn't. But yeah, it was so there. Yeah. So once again, dude, even if this was if this was nothing, it would have got nipped in the bud, first of all. So we know it's not nothing. And it's just like, dude, again, really? You get out of one of your most successful shows of all time, and instead of just talking about like, wow, a wrestling show ended with a happy ending, kinda, and or something like that, or talking about how MGF actually retained, or I don't know, any of the millions of things we could be talking about. Hey, I mean, I guess we're not talking about the fact that women got less than 10 minutes and you had, a goddamn four-way for the women's title, and that was it. I guess no one's talking about that. I guess that's cool. Good job, Punker. I don't know.
So,
Yeah, he just.
Rob, I know you've got some thoughts here.
Yes.
You've been saving. Rob has been like salivating for 4 days now.
Yes, because it's time to break out the shovel.
The shoot bear is ready to shoot.
Yes. It's time to break out the shovel. And it's for I have the shovel for Jack Perry. Because you, sir, are a moron. Okay. Look, I mean, however Punk overreacted backstage, no, he shouldn't have done that. Okay. We know Punk is an asshole. Punk is very thin skinned. Punk is very reactionary. We know all of those things. But you, Mr. Perry, you are an idiot. Because you got what you wanted. You got to use the real glass. Okay, you got to use the real glass. That's what you really want to use, real glass, because fake glass not good enough for Jack Perry. No. I got to use real glass. Even though my daddy was an actor, and he probably when he did some action scenes, I doubt he used real glass. Right?
He probably was sugar glass.
Yes. So, but you are Jack Perry, and only real glass for Jack Perry. Yes. We can't use fake glass. That would just be unacceptable. That is not worthy of Jack Perry to use fake glass in a wrestling spot. So you got to use your real glass. Yay. But what did you and all you had to do was go out there and do your little dumb spot on the real glass and then do your match and go to the back and you could have your own little smug sense of satisfaction that you got over on CM Punk and all those old men who and all that. You could and that's all you had to do. But no, you had to say something on camera. This is the biggest show in the history of the company that you work for, and you had to make it about you. And the fact that you got one over on people and look, I got to use real glass. Ha ha ha. I showed you. Y'all can't tell me what to do around here. Ha ha ha. And you just had to do that, didn't you? You just had to do that. And so you antagonized somebody who notoriously does not react very well when he is antagonized. Okay. And you antagonize somebody that while he did not do very well in the UFC, he is good enough at UFC fighting to whoop your ass.
I think that's something a lot of people tend to forget. Yeah, Punk went 0-2 in his UFC career, but the dude trained like you will never. I may sit here and have my thoughts about CM Punk as a person, CM Punk as a wrestler, and CM Punk's career. You will never hear me, neither to his face nor on this microphone, you will never hear me say that CM Punk can't fight. I fully believe in my heart that CM Punk can fight.
Even I have to begrudgingly admit, like, exactly what you guys are laying out. Like, no, he lost to two pretty legitimate fighters. And, like, Mickey Gall is, like, legitimately legit, and I can't remember anything about the other guy. But in any case, like, yeah, but still, he didn't get, taken out in 2 seconds. And he trained for a long time, and they wouldn't have let him in if he didn't have some sort of, he can put hands on any of us, guys. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than the Brian Scalabrine thing. Brian Scalabrine was the 12th man in the NBA, but he dunked all over us.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much.
and okay.
Even at our current ages, and I believe he's, approaching 50.
Yeah. So,
What's wrong with that?
You know, there's nothing.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. He'd still whoop that ass.
I'm go ahead and finish, Robin. Then I've got some thoughts, and I want to bounce off you guys.
Now, before I go any further, now, Mr. Perry, I want you to stop and think about what would have happened to you if you had done that same thing, and instead of it all in, you were working at, say, Extreme Rules. Okay.
God forbid WrestleMania.
All right. Okay. Because
if we're gonna scale it,
let me tell you, you would not have had to worry about Roman Reigns. You wouldn't have to worry about Roman Reigns putting hands on you. You wouldn't have to worry about Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre or somebody putting hands on you. Do you know who would have put hands on you as soon as you walked through the curtain? Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah.
Okay. He would have yoked you up. He would have said, "What the hell is your?" He would use stronger words than that. He said, "What the hell is your problem? This is my show. Don't you ever do that shit again." And tomorrow, next Monday, you're going out there, and in 30 seconds, Gunther is going to kill your ass. Okay. And you should be happy it's not Brock instead. and he might have fired him. Vince might have fired him right there.
Yeah.
You're Jungle Boy. I'm sorry, you're not CM Punk. You're not MJF. You're not, you're not Chris Jericho. You're not Sting. You're Jungle Boy. Okay. We can fire you tomorrow, and Hunter might not even call you. Okay. I mean, you're not that important.
So let's flip what you just said on its ear a little bit. That you're not that important, because in the grand scheme of pro wrestling, you're right. But in the grand scheme of AEW, and I'm looking at this from Jungle Boy's perspective, looking at it from his perspective, you are a guy who literally put the bricks in the building.
Yeah, Jungle Boy's an OG.
He's an OG.
He's not an EVP or anything like that, but he might as
well.
But
he's an OG. He was
at
there
the press conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now you've got this guy who notoriously is a problem backstage, not only with his former company, but has a history with the current company he's in. Let's look at from Jungle Boy's perspective. Aside from being a legitimate draw, being a legitimate, at this point, legend in the industry, in the scheme of AEW as a company, who the fuck is CM Punk to tell me what I can and can't do on a wrestling TV? Where is my boss?
Well, that's what I was wanted to mention, because at the very least, I think you're right, DJ. Jack Perry has enough sway to at least check CM Punk.
He got checked, so apparently he ain't swaying too much.
Well, no, but I think Punk should have been like, yeah, okay, you know what, you're right. Maybe I'm overstepping because I just got here. Yeah, right. And he is CM Punk. He is obviously the draw. He is the thing.
So CM Punk, I can sum him up in one phrase. If you give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. And that was part of his problem in WWE, was that Vince never gave him an inch.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was part of the biggest problem he had with them, was they just never gave him enough to go out and run with. Now he's in a company where nobody's going to challenge him, and the few that are going to challenge him can't take him. They're not going to step up that much to him, and if they do, he's going to put them down. So he's quite comfortable in that role, because now he can flex muscle that realistically he shouldn't have. Right. And again, from Jungle Boy's perspective, he's probably looking around going, okay, where is my boss, my actual boss? Not the guy who came in here and decided because Punk did this in WWE, he announced himself as the locker room leader. Just willy-nilly, hey, I'm the locker room leader around here. Meanwhile, there's some guys named Layfield and Undertaker and probably a few others that are looking at scratching their heads like, who the fuck is this kid?
Booker has a story about that, because Punk tried to tell him to put throw away some trash or whatever, and he's like, I took that wrapper and I threw it right on the floor right in front of his face.
So from Jungle Boy's perspective, and again, I'm only playing devil's advocate because I want to look at all aspects here, is he's probably looking at this situation like, who are you, buddy? Like, I've been here since day one. You have been here for less than 2 years, and realistically, with injury and everything, you've been here less than a year. So you're going to come in here and tell me how to do my job, how to do my part. That being said, the spirit of what CM Punk did was absolutely correct. And I agree with you, Rob. We don't need real glass spots on, at least not on a televised weekly wrestling show. You want to save that for the big show? You want to save that for All In? You want to throw everything out there for something like that? Absolutely. You don't do that on a regular episode of your weekly TV wrestling show. And, you know, you're also Punk's, and I find this ironic, given the fact that Punk was part of the CTE lawsuit against WWE. Punk's looking out not only for, you know, Jack's safety, but the safety of the company. Because God forbid something go awry and this kid get hurt, sever an artery, you know, bleed out, whatever the case may be. You know, now he's looking, okay, the company allowed this to happen. Well, Khan family got deep pockets. Khan family got money, and now we've got ourselves a lawsuit. So, and like you said, I find that ironic that CM Punk would be the guy to, you know, watch out for the best interest of the company, given the circumstances. But at the same time, and I hate that I'm doing this, I side with CM Punk in the spirit of what he did. Rob, you're over here smiling. I see you smiling. You have no idea how much that kills me to say that.
Hang on. Even in the CT, the fact that he's part of the CT lawsuit, he's like, I mean, it almost backs him up because he's going, yeah, guys, we don't actually have to slice ourselves open or smash our heads against the ground to entertain people. So I think the spirit of those are kind of the same.
Now, I am going to put my IWC hat on here for a minute. Because this is what the IWC should be doing, but they won't because of who the company is. I kind of get the feeling that CM Punk and by default Tony Khan for allowing it to happen are kind of creatively stifling Jungle Boy. Like they're not letting him do his stuff. How often do we hear this? You know, Vince won't let them do their stuff. They stifle them creatively. When are we going to see Jungle Boy photos with the shackles on? Like, when does this happen? Am I doing the IWC right now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I just want to make sure that's what I was doing because that's how I saw it on my monitor was, you know, CM Punk was creatively stifling Jungle Boy.
Anyway.
And I got another shovel, by the way. The other shovel is for Tony.
Yeah, we need to have a real discussion about Tony Khan.
Because, all right.
Letting the lunatics run the asylum? Dr. Arkham?
Here's my thing. All right, number one.
Tony Arkham. That's all I'm going to call him.
Tony Arkham.
Yeah.
Pop. Big Pop.
He runs the facility, but then the criminals keep breaking out all the
time. And even in the facility, the criminals run it half the time.
Yeah.
AEW is like playing Arkham. What is it?
Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a traveling Arkham Asylum. It's a traveling circus. It's a traveling Arkham Asylum.
Yeah. And because here's the thing. All right. One thing I've always thought that, okay, Tony should have leveled with everybody. He needed to be brutally honest with everybody when he decided to sign CM Punk in the first place. Okay.
Right.
Because
it's gonna be his show.
Well, because it's real simple. I'm signing this guy because our business is plateaued. If we want this to be a long-term thing, we have to do something to get more people to watch what we're doing. Okay. Because with the number of people who are watching right now, that's fine for all of us who are here right now, and it'll be fine for maybe next 5 or 10 years, maybe. Or maybe next 5 years, that'll be fine for all of us who are here right now. But if this thing is going to last beyond 5 years, then we have to do something to get more people watching. And sorry, guys, I love you guys, but right now what you guys are doing is not getting more people to watch. So I have to go get somebody who would. And that you need to be, and he needed to be honest with all those guys. And apparently he was not because they're, and look, when you. I think it's no different when the Bulls got Dennis Rodman. Okay, Michael Jordan is Mr. Prepare the right way and be on time, this, that, and the other. And he had to go get Fish Dennis out of a hotel room with Carmen Electra one morning. Okay, and Dennis during the NBA Finals, as we all know, in between games, he comes out on Nitro with the NWO.
Yep.
All right, and Now look, and we all know Mike was probably punching every wall in his hotel room when he saw that. Okay, but he knew they needed Dennis Rodman to win the championship. So you know what happened? Did they go scream at Dennis Rodman? Did they complain about Dennis Rodman? No. They hated his antics and he drove them crazy. But they said we need this guy, so we're going to put up with this shit. As long as he delivers, then we're going to deal with it. And Tony needed to have that conversation with all the people in that, with anyone who mattered in that company. He needed to talk to Kenny. He needed to talk to Bucks. He needed to talk to Hangman, and whoever else. And also Tony he also needed to be honest with who he was bringing in. And apparently, and I think he very delusionally thought that Philip Jack Brooks was going to fit in with All Friends Wrestling. Okay, and he should have known better.
Yeah.
Okay, and because he's from day one, he's handled this as if, again, like as if there was never going to be any problems. And we all know, Phil is the embodiment of that little meme or whatever, that little gift that shows up on Twitter sometimes where the guy says, I don't want peace, I want problems.
Yep.
Okay, that's
So,
CM Punk. Okay,
one thing that I'm trying to like align the timelines on, and I'm just kind of shocked. Do you think Cody saw this coming?
Absolutely.
I thought. Do you think it was a serious part of like his like? No, I'm jumping ship. I'm out of here.
I don't, well, cause see, I think the thing where I think that may not be true is that he and Punk kind of have the same philosophy on things like ring work and whatnot. So
They never did anything on screen together in the AEW.
no, but
Did they do anything in WWE?
But they were there. This was like before Collision.
So well,
they never shared the screen, and they were together. They were still overlapped for like 5 months.
Well, okay, I think Cody and Punk would have gotten along because I don't think they would have had any problems with each other. But I mean, I think you might be onto something where Cody might have been well, look, we know Cody was coming back anyway.
Yeah, he just something accelerated that process.
Yeah,
so, right, and that was
it's the thing he won't say.
Right.
Was that it though? Was when Tony made the decision, hey, I'm signing Punk. Cody went, okay. Contract.
I don't. I mean, the timeline seems to line
was it
up.
like the final? Was it a factor? Was he like, yeah, and this and this and Tony and I are beefing and this, and you know what? I don't want to be around when Punker explodes.
Maybe. I'm guessing. I mean, I think it's probably a combination of things.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I really think Tony didn't lowball him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you don't leave in a pissed off manner. I mean, the kind of air he had about him leaving suggested he got lowballed.
Yeah.
And so with that, do you accept the lowball offer with CM Punk around and everything that's bound to happen when he's around? No. Now, if Tony had offered him, the $50 gazillion, he would have signed, and he would say, "Well, if Phil flips out, then whatever." I mean, but
I mean, I could see a scenario where he lowballs, Tony lowballs Cody and says, "Oh, well, this is the best I can offer you. By the way, I'm bringing in CM Punk. Oh, really? How much you paying Punk?
Yeah.
Who hasn't wrestled in 9 years. And meanwhile, I'm a guy who started this company with you, went down this road with you. I could see a scenario where that's probably a factor.
Yeah,
I'm this guy who brought you to this company, brought you to this road, and gave you stuff to spend money on.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I handed you an E-Fed to play with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dirty.
So I think maybe the two maybe went together. And also Tony
Khan will not see heaven.
No. And the other thing, Tony, for once in your life, can you please be a wrestling promoter? You have two guys with real heat. You have a chance to make money off this. Yeah, you actually have. There's actually video apparently of what happened.
Jeez.
If you're going to call yourself a wrestling promoter, you need to take that video and you need to put it on TV and you need to make an angle out of it and you need to go and now look, I'm pretty Punk is old school enough where he'll do the damn storyline, he'll do the match. I don't think we have to worry about that. But you need to go over there and talk to Jungle Boy and tell Jungle Boy this is the wrestling business and this is how this stuff works. If there's some people that got an issue and we can make some money out of it, that's what we're going to do. And you know, but I don't think Tony has that in him because I think Tony really does believe in all friends wrestling.
He does. He
Yeah.
still believes that AEW is offering people some kind of wrestling utopia without understanding that a wrestling utopia doesn't work. Because again, you come back to what we just said a few minutes ago, Arkham Asylum. The inmates are running the place.
Yeah, and look, and you can't have Arkham Asylum. You got to have Bell Rev with Amanda Waller in charge. Okay,
Yes.
that's what if you're running a wrestling company, that's what it's got to be. That's the type of facility you have to run. You got to put the bombs in everybody's neck, so that boom. Okay, that's what you have to do. You can't have Arkham
God
Asylum.
damn, man.
Okay?
It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Supposedly, both guys have been suspended, which is odd because they have another premium live event or pay-per-view, if they're still calling it that, this weekend. We had All Out last weekend. We had All In last weekend. We've got All Out, this coming weekend. And so far, the only two that are All Out are Jack Perry and CM Punk. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Is this going to be like the final thing where Punk just says, you know what, F this place. It's not worth my time. Which should, for him, should be a life lesson that, hey, maybe WWE wasn't so bad and maybe the problems that they did have there are a systemic wrestling industry thing.
Right.
And maybe they're not necessarily problems, so to speak, but it just is the way the business functions. There are top stars, there are almost top stars, there are middle of the road stars, and there are people who just aren't stars. And I think CM Punk firmly believes that he was a John Cena, Roman Reigns, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rock-esque generational talent. And he refuses to accept otherwise, no matter where he's at. And, for a while you blame WWE. Well, they won't let me do what I want. Well, this is wrestling, buddy. We're putting on a show. And I'm your boss. And I don't know. It's this Punk situation is weird. But it's just weird. Like how many chances do you give? And I'm not saying he's at fault entirely here, but he just seems to be the epicenter of every major blow up.
Yeah, and I think again he has a different philosophy than the EVPs and those because they do the passive aggressive thing and all of that. I mean we know he's very brash and in your face.
Yeah.
It's just it's a bad mix, I think, and
yeah.
he's the wrong person to bring in that company with those people. But see, this is why I am just tortured about all of this because as much as I think he was like kind of the wrong person to put in that locker room, they kind of need somebody like him there.
They do.
I mean, you need somebody there who's going to be like, no, that doing all that flippy shit all the time is dumb. These matches need to make sense. The stuff we do needs to make sense. We don't need to kill each other out there all the time.
Yeah.
I did find it funny that he got pissed off at Hangman Page because Hangman Page went off script on a promo and shot on him, and which means, of course, all along he really wants the discipline, right?
Yeah.
They need somebody there like him. And look, Cody had the same issue. Now, of course, Cody's not as volatile as Punk is, but Cody had the same kind of disagreements with the Bucks and all those guys about how to do a wrestling show. because I mean, everybody said that it was like watching two different shows when Cody was out there versus the rest of them.
Right.
So Cody had the same issues. It's just Cody is much more diplomatic about everything, and and all of that. So it's a problem. I mean, creatively, it's a problem.
This is how I did a management seminar here about 6 or 8 months ago, and they played a little video clip from Bill Gates. He was much younger, and he was talking about Apple when they were growing the company. They needed to hire some managers.
Microsoft.
They needed managers, and so they hired managers from without. They got some recruiters. They went to these firms that this is what these people do. They're managers. They come in and they manage things, and they come into this company, and it was an absolute disaster. And they found out that promoting people from within seemed to promote better harmony within the company. Now, when you put that in the context of what's going on here in CM Punk, I go back to what I said a few minutes ago. If you're Jack Perry and you've been there since day one, and you're looking at a guy like CM Punk, who is relatively to them new on the scene, doesn't know the backstage, doesn't know how things are run on that show, who is he to come in here and tell me how we should be doing this? And I really think at the end of the day, that may be the biggest problem we're having with CM Punk, is that there's going to be people in that locker room that respect him. They respect him because he's a hell of a professional wrestler. He's, been to the top of the mountain. He's been there, done that. He's a guy you absolutely want to take advice from. But AEW's talent, at least to, on a certain section, have a history of not listening to the veterans.
Yes.
So these guys are already going to be side-eyeing CM Punk going, well, why the hell should I listen to this guy? He hasn't been here for the last 4 years. He doesn't know what I've done. He doesn't, So I think at the end of the day, it's that type of situation with a lot of these guys. They're still, even though CM Punk is obviously not a newcomer, he's a newcomer to that locker room, and the guys who have been there the longest are probably looking at him like, I ain't fucking listening to you. Who are you?
I'd also like to correct you, DJ. He has not been to the top of the mountain.
For the day and age that he pinned John Cena, not once, not twice, but 3 times. CM Punk went to the top of the mountain.
But he also had 2 fewer main events than Psycho said.
Oh, there it is. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Does CM Punk finally just throw in the towel and say, you know what, I'm done with this place? Or do we give it one more chance? I think they'll give it one more chance.
I don't.
Yeah, they're giving it one more.
He's not going to quit because he gets paid
money.
Too much. Yeah,
he gets paid too much, and he's not going to go back there for all the reasons we just mentioned earlier.
Right.
So, I think we've said about enough about that. Can we move on?
Yes.
Okay. let's talk some real wrestling.
There you go.
We have WWE Payback coming up this weekend, Saturday. Our co-host here, Jason, has the card pulled up. As customary on this show, Jason's going to run down the card, and we're just going to kind of give some quick thoughts and some quick predictions.
Okay, first up, we'll rip the Band-Aid off. It's Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. I don't care because I know that Trish is somehow going to win this. Because, I mean, I don't see any other conclusion. And I don't, because that's why you gave away the match you gave away on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or whenever it was.
Monday.
Which was insane to me that you gave away the, Becky wins, beats Trish with Zoe interfering, like, before the steel cage match. I'm like, so why are we doing the steel cage match? Okay. So anyway, do you guys have anything to say about that match coming up?
Like I said, look, they blew the wad Monday. I mean, they did the gimmick match, and they went insane, and Becky got hit with like 10 chairs and kicked out of all of them, and she got put to a table and kicked out, and they did all that on a free TV match on Monday. And it was essentially a handicap match. So she basically beat both of them on Monday and did all that. And so now we have a cage match. Okay. I mean, I don't know.
This has been such a hard feud for me because I love Becky Lynch. I've always loved Trish Stratus. And Trish, for the work that she's been putting in, has been great. For the last few months, she really has been, and I like that they're giving Zoe Stark, again, someone I've been high on. They're giving her some ample and quality TV time, making her feel important, while also making her look like a stormtrooper. So it's kind of a tough juggling act with what they're doing with her. I think at the end of the day she'll be fine, but I couldn't care less. And in saying that, I hope they tear the house down. Like, I hope those girls get in that steel cage and absolutely show up and show out. They both have the talent to do it, the ability to do it. Because we've invested so much time, and to feel so flat going into this match, I hope they give us something to remember.
All right. Yeah, I think the match will be fun. So that we have that to look forward to at least. So next up, we have Seth freaking Rollins defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura, with obviously Senor Money in the Bank always looming. I don't know. They're selling Seth back pretty hard. I think he might. Is he actually going to take some time off? I don't know. Because all the evidence is there that dude's back is jacked all smithereens. So yeah, I kind of think this one, we play this one straight tonight. I don't think there's an actual cash in, and I think Shinsuke wins by some sort of nefarious means, because ostensibly Seth is a babyface, or at least a protagonist. So, and Shinsuke's definitely turned heel. So Rob, what do you have here?
Now I will say I think they have done an excellent job of building this match, because this match should absolutely feel like a throwaway match, but it doesn't. So, I don't think there's any way Shinsuke walks out with the title. I think if they want to make this show memorable, this is the time to do the briefcase. I think now Seth's injuries, they're real, because I think he talked about it on that the Logan Paul thing a few months ago. So this isn't an angle or just a gimmick or whatever. And he even pointed out that cell match with Roman and Braun, where he and Dolph were fighting on the wall of the cell, and they took a table bump. That's where he messed up his back.
Yeah.
And so that was
that was 7 years ago almost, wasn't it?
Well, that was 2018. So it was almost 5 years.
Okay, 5 years ago. Okay, but still, goddamn.
Yeah. And he said basically he's doing everything he can to avoid having to get surgery. So it's real. It's not it's not a gimmick. And looking at the calendar, I don't think he's going to have surgery. I think he's going to run from that like the plague. But looking at the calendar, this is exactly when you would want to take off if you were him.
Yeah.
You take off now and be back in January. I mean, I think that would make the most sense.
Yeah, I think 100 days worth of rest is good.
Yeah. So I think it would be a good idea to do briefcase here. Now, so just the question is, will they do it? And that, to me, that's the real question. I mean, will they do it? I think this is the perfect time to do it. Because look, Seth's not going to he's not going to take time off unless you shut him down and tell him to go home. I mean, I just don't think he doesn't take time off. And I imagine now, just kind of on a personal level, he feels a whole lot more pressure now with Cody there. Well, I mean, because look, before he was, basically trying to hang with Roman, right? Now you can't just try to hang with Roman. Now you got this other guy here.
Yeah.
And they both said they don't get along, the two of them, him and Cody. And it is basically because it's professional. They're
it's competitive.
They're competing over the same thing, right? Over the same space on the card, the same title eventually, and all that. They're competing. over it, and so you're not going to be best buddies when it's like that. But he feels the heat from Cody being there, and so he's not going to take off unless you tell him to go home. So I think this would be a good time to tell him to go home. Okay?
Yeah.
And and I think this is the time to do the briefcase. So I think either they do the briefcase or Seth escapes here some kind of way. And, I don't think there's any chance Shinsuke is winning the title.
DJ?
I'm going to keep the Money in the Bank briefcase off the table here. Seth Rollins is my favorite. You guys, I've never been shy about that. You know how I feel about Seth. I want Shinsuke to win here because I really like what they're doing right now with him being a heel. I was not a fan of his heel run against AJ Styles. It felt forced. It felt just not genuine at all. I like the feel and the vibe and the energy off of this Shinsuke Nakamura. I like it. I'm here for it. And if Seth does need a break, I'd like to see Shinsuke, even if Shinsuke holds it for a month or two. I'd be okay with that. So I'm calling for Shinsuke Nakamura on Saturday.
There you go. Okay, so next up we had a women's championship match. Oh, look at this! Wow, 3 matches in. We already got 2 women's matches on the card. That's crazy.
I bet one of them goes more than 8 minutes.
Yeah, you couldn't. I didn't know you could do that. So anyway, we have the Women's World Championship on the line. Rhea Ripley defending her title against Raquel Rodriguez. I don't think much is going to change here. I look for a good match between the two of them who've put on good matches in the past, and they've only gotten better. So, and Rhea, I look for Rhea to retain here. DJ?
Yeah, same. She puts Raquel in the dirt. That being said, I want to see a good Haas fight here. These girls are both power wrestlers. Don't get in there and try and do any cute stuff.
Yeah.
Get in there, get your power moves going, muscle each other around. Let's get in and get gritty. That's what I want to see from these two. But I think Rhea retains.
Rob?
Yeah, I guess kind of the only kind of cloud over this match is there's no way she's losing. So it's just, is it going to be clean or is it's going to be without Dominic?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I hope. Yeah, I would hope that they don't just do a clean finish because then, I mean, if she just beats Raquel clean in the middle of the ring in September, then it's time to start having a conversation about Raquel here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, Rhea obviously wins here.
Yep. All right. So next up, we have the WWE United States Championship on the line. Rey Mysterio putting it up against former champion Austin Theory. I look for Austin to lose. Yeah, I don't think. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this was a quick. I don't know. I think Rey's just gonna win. Then this is just kind of your filler match of the night. DJ.
I think Austin Theory regains the championship.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Rob?
I'm still kind of wondering why they did the title change in the first place. That made no sense to me.
It's got something. It's got to do with the LWO story that they're building. I think it was used as a prop in that story, which is why I think Austin Theory is winning, because I think that story with the LWO takes a turn on Saturday.
Gotcha. Okay. Next up, we have LA Knight versus The Miz in a good old-fashioned singles match with no steps, just singles match. That's exciting. I mean, they're both going to make each other look great, and I think LA Knight's going to win, and he's going to keep on trucking to whatever he does next. Miz is kind of finishing school for a lot of folks, and LA is so far passing with flying colors. Rob?
Okay, I think LA Knight will probably win here. I guess I think you could get another month out of this. I think personally you could have Miz screw him over and cheat to win, and you could get another month out of this. I think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you end it here, then what? I mean,
True.
So I think I'm good. I'm gonna pick Miz to win here because I think you can easily get another month out of this, and they have because they have another pay-per-view that's also next month. It's also kind of a B show. So I mean, I think you can get another month out of this, and I mean, look, I think we'd all be fine with 4 more weeks of them going at each other on the mic. Shoot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick Miz to win here, and then we keep this thing going for another month.
All right, fair. DJ?
I agree with Rob. I don't think this is a one and done. I think the Miz wins on Saturday, and we get at least another month, maybe two out of this. That being said, I'm a big fan of LA Knight. I think the guy's great on the stick, but let me be honest here. Monday night, the Miz stir fried his ass. I enjoyed every minute of that promo from the Miz.
Good stuff. I mean, Miz is legendary, so. So last up, we've got, so this might be, card order to be determined because we have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defending their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship against the Judgment Day, which in this case is going to be Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So maybe, I would imagine this match happens before the World Heavyweight Championship match. So, but I don't think that the Judgment Day is going to win the tag team belts. I think there's going to be more bumbling of the 2 steps forward, 1 step back, as the Judgment Day's been doing recently. And I think they're gonna run into each other or knock heads or something like that, and that will lead us later into the night where we get a failed cash in again or something. But yeah, I look for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to retain their titles and Judgment Day to do something stupid. Rob.
Yeah, I think there's no way Kevin and Sami are losing here, and look, this should be a fine match, but it would really help if they hadn't wrestled each other like 12 times in the last 13 weeks. I mean,
every combination of
for
them.
like the last 2.5 months, every Monday night, the main event was some combination of Judgment Day, which is some combination of Kevin, Sami, Seth, Cody, and it's been beaten to death. Like I said, look, I'm sure this will be great and all, but I think so. I think Kevin and Sami win here. And what we were saying before, like before we were doing a little pre-show thing. It's time to split those tag team titles up. There's literally no more story to tell with Kevin and Sami tag team champions.
All right, Teach.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think Judgment Day wins the tag championship Saturday night.
Ooh, all right. Okay, there you go. Well, that brings us to the end of Payback, I guess.
Yeah. I think all in all, we were talking in the pre-show huddle. This one, although I think they'll turn out, I think the individual matches themselves will be very good. My hype level for this card is not high. So I'm hoping that, because my hype is not high, my expectations will not be high. They will meet and or, exceed my expectations on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
I think that's. Sorry, Rob. That's about where I'm at too. I'm like, all right, well, I think the card's great and the talents arranged such as they are all good to have some good wrestling. So yeah, sign me up.
And so now Cody, there was the Grayson Waller effect, and Cody is going to be.
Oh yeah.
So
imagine that.
Do we think
something out of that?
Do we think anybody shows up and leaves Cody in a puddle of not blood but in a pile?
Yeah, you got to wonder who's going to do that because we've got to have the next thing in the Cody Rhodes monster fight.
Randy.
Well, I mean that's what some of the that's what the IWC speculation is all that it is, Randy. But there's been no word on Randy preparing to come back or anything, so who knows?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I'd pop for me, if it was Randy Orton, that would be the moment of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff.
All right. Well, you guys want to go home early?
Yeah,
Sure.
early access to Starfield just dropped, so I'm downloading that, and I'm gonna disappear for the night.
It makes me so mad. That's an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, well, we get some nice things. Okay, keep your Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right. We got Spider-Man. All right. Well, you have been listening to the Mindless Wrestling Podcast, part of the Chairshot Radio Network. You can find us on thechairshot.com. Also, I want to invite you to go over to the prowrestlingtees.com/thechairshot. From there, you, my friend, need a new t-shirt. There you can find all your favorite Chairshot Radio Network podcasts have t-shirts there, including this podcast you're listening to right now, the Mindless Wrestling Podcast. Go over there. Pick yourself up a t-shirt. Pick yourself up something for your friend, for your loved one. We will thank you. You and your friends will thank you. That was terrible. I'm terrible at this. I'm tired. I need some sleep. Going to go around the horn here and thank my co-host, starting with from the Rob the Genius podcast. Rob, somehow or another we managed to pull it together, Bubba. I'm tired.
Yeah, we survived, and so we're here. We made it. Next week, I promise to be more awake and more enthusiastic.
We'll see, man. We're this thing with EJ's turning into a weekly date. So, all right, and Bucky's tag team partner Jason, sir, you're looking about as tired as we look.
Yeah, it's been a long week, but however, because just because he's not on the card doesn't mean we can go a week without acknowledging our tribal chief, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, coming up on
solid
1,100 days as champion coming up. And yeah, 3 solid years.
As of yesterday.
Yes.
As of yesterday. My goodness. Long may he reigns.
And I'm DJ, the man with the award-winning and holy beard. Remember, you can call it pro wrestling. You can call it sports entertainment. You can call it whatever you want, but call it in the ring. And we're out of here till next week.